You know, money is literally the #1 reason couples fight. It's a fact we all kind of know, right? Yet, so many of us wait until we're already sharing a bank account to realize, uh-oh, I am fundamentally mismatched with my partner. So in today's Explainer, we're going to shine a massive spotlight on 3 toxic money habits. I like to call these the silent relationship leaks. These are those sneaky, hidden behaviors that quietly drain your peace and honestly sink your financial future long before you even realize there's a hole in your boat.
So think about this for a second. Have you ever felt, weird? Or maybe just a little bit awkward bringing up the topic of money on a date? Maybe you've purposely avoided looking at the check, or you actually found yourself hiding a purchase from a partner. If you're nodding right now, let's just pause and completely normalize that. It is absolutely normal to feel that friction. But here's the thing, keeping it in the dark, that's what actually causes the damage. So, we're gonna change how you handle these exact moments.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the emotional debt. Then we'll hit Habit 1, financial secrecy, Habit 2, transactional tracking, and Habit 3, value mismatch. After that, we'll take a quick human interlude. And finally, we'll wrap up by building your first money date and freedom machine.
All right, Section 1, the emotional debt.
So in early romance, we're basically taught that talking about money is somehow unsexy or, overly materialistic. So what do? We focus entirely on the chemistry, and we shove our financial lives into completely separate locked boxes. But the reality? Your finances are a direct reflection of your core values. And this isn't just some abstract theory. Look, I've had my own share of relationship mishaps where everything felt absolutely perfect on the surface, but underneath, there was a massive belief bubble mismatch. I was out there actively working toward time freedom and early retirement. Meanwhile, the person I was dating was completely comfortable living paycheck to paycheck with absolutely zero plan for the future. And you know what? That kind of gap doesn't just magically disappear with love. Left ignored, it inevitably turns straight into resentment. Which brings us to Section 2, Habit 1, financial secrecy.
Let me be super clear about something right off the bat. Having debt is not the red flag. Most of us have had student loans or credit card balances at some point, right? The actual red flag, the thing that will absolutely sink the ship, is the secrecy surrounding it. When you lie about money, you are essentially bankrupting the trust in the relationship before you've even started. Think about it. If someone is hiding a $20,000 credit card balance from you, they aren't just hiding some numbers on a screen, they are hiding a behavior. They're actively choosing avoidance over accountability. And in any healthy partnership, trust is the absolute fundamental currency. Bankrupting that trust right out of the gate is a total disaster.
Actually, let's just do some quick math to put this into perspective and show you exactly how big this leak can be. Let's say your partner is hiding $10,000 in debt at a 25% APR. That equates to losing $208 every single month in interest alone. That is over $2,400 a year, literally just lost, handed over to a bank. That's money that could have been funding your shared future, but instead it's quietly draining away right behind your back.
All right, moving on to Section 3, Habit 2, transactional tracking.
Now, I like to call this one the transactional trap. This happens when partners start keeping a rigid scorecard of every single dollar spent in the relationship. Look, being organized is fantastic, it really is, but making a relationship purely mathematical, that's dangerous. I once knew a couple who kept a shared spreadsheet for absolutely everything, literally everything, right down to splitting a $4 avocado at the grocery store. Now, unless that is a truly life-changing avocado, nickel and diming your partner like that sends a very clear signal. It says the math is more important than the person. It completely kills the generosity, the grace, all the stuff that intimacy actually needs to thrive.
You can really see the stark contrast in mindsets here. Just listen to the transactional mindset. I paid for dinner, so you owe me $42.50. It sounds exactly like a strict business deal, doesn't it? Now compare that to the relational mindset. Hey, I've got dinner tonight. You can grab the movie tickets. One is a super rigid ledger, and the other is a team actually acting like a team. Love is emotional, guys. It's not just mathematical.
Next up, Section 4, Habit 3, value mismatch.
So you really have to understand that spending is essentially a language. How you allocate your resources tells the world what you actually care about. When there is a total lack of alignment on your lifestyle aspirations, your relationship is heading for a high-speed collision. Picture this extreme contrast. On one side, you have someone with luxury aspirations. They want to fly business class, stay at 5-star hotels, but they don't even have an emergency fund. Then, on the flip side, you have someone practicing extreme deprivation. They are pathologically frugal and refuse to spend money on making any memories.
even when they can easily afford it. If you and your partner are on opposite ends of the spectrum, you desperately need a middle ground translator. Otherwise, those core value clashes, they will absolutely tear the relationship apart.
I'm going to share a quick tea-spilling moment straight from the source material here. The author mentions, "I once dated a guy who made fun of me for wanting him to pay on the first date." Wow. And the crucial takeaway here isn't even about the cash itself, it's about the judgment. If a partner makes you feel silly or stupid for having financial boundaries, that signals a much deeper, much more toxic lack of respect.
Moving into Section 5, the human interlude. Let's just take a breath for a second here. If you're listening to this and feeling a bit of shame because maybe your finances are currently a bit of a mess, I want to talk directly to you. Maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, or occasionally overdrafting your account. Listen to me, it is okay. In the source material, there's this incredibly vulnerable admission. I used to shoplift groceries because I was so avoidant of my own numbers. That highlights such a vital truth. Financial instability is just a season. It really can happen to anyone. The real red flag isn't being in a tough spot. The red flag is being entirely comfortable avoiding the reality of it without ever trying to change. So, the absolutely crucial point is this. The most attractive thing you can bring to a date isn't a high net worth, it's a plan. You deserve a partner who is a good steward of their life. And fundamentally, attracting that kind of partner, well, that starts with you stepping up to be a good steward of your own life, right now, exactly where you are starting from.
Okay, Section 6, the first money date and freedom machine.
So how do we actually fix this before it's too late? Well, we do it by using what's called the first money date and freedom machine. We use the mise en place approach, basically prepping your environment before the conflict even starts. By the third or fourth date, when things are getting a bit serious, it is time to run a money vibe check. Here's the exact system. You just ask these 3 totally non-threatening questions. 1, what are you excited to save up for? 2, how did your family talk about money growing up? And 3, what does financial freedom look like to you in 5 years? Notice how natural those feel? This isn't an interrogation. This is a highly actionable, really gentle way to explore a partner's belief bubble and just see if it aligns with yours.
Let's zoom out a bit and see how this all builds into our overall strategy. Here is your quick recap of the 3 red flags we absolutely must avoid. First, you need to spot the secrecy early. Second, you need to completely avoid the transactional trap of scorekeeping. And third, you must align your enough lines so your fundamental values are living in the exact same zip code.
Because when you do that, magic happens. When 2 people align their golden rivers of income, the compounding effect is literally explosive. You're no longer just splitting bills. You are stacking habits together. You are building a freedom machine that makes those massive life goals, like buying a home or taking a mini retirement, so much easier to achieve.
Now make sure to look for the link in the source material to download the free First Money Date Checklist today. Which leaves us with one final, very important question for you to consider. Will you actively choose a partner who expands your belief bubble and respects your boundaries? Or will you settle for a relationship where money is a black hole of anxiety?